Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar. We have Ian Mitchell and Sarah Boucher from Snom here today, who is going to walk through the M100 key line with us and give you all the ins and outs. So without further ado, I will kick it over to them.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Boucher. I am Inside Sales Manager here at Snom, and I do have Ian Mitchell on the line with us today as well, our product manager. We just want to give you a brief overview of our M100 KLE series. It's a really great product. It's really good niche for retail and restaurants. Before I hand it over to Ian, I do want to give you a little background on Snom. So Snom was first in VoIP. We produced the first mass SIP phone in 2001. VTech acquired us in 2016. They were looking to get into the SIP market, and with our robust SIP stack and our great quality product, it was a really good match. Since VTech is a billion-dollar company, we're able to go ahead and make some great changes here. We are a vertically integrated organization, so we do actually have control over product from the beginning all the way to the end, manufacturing to distribution. We have support for you right here in North America, so pre-sales, post-sales, tech support. You can always reach someone via telephone, via email. We are here for you. We do offer a 3-year warranty on all of our products, kind of a one-stop shop as well. So we have your desk phones, we have your mobility, your single multi-cell, your keyline emulation, paging, conferencing devices, and we now have a fully cordless DECT conference device as well, which is great for your social distancing needs. So just to give you a little background there on why you should feel confident partnering with us. And one thing I want to mention too on our KLE product that we're covering today is that we do have one chain that had over 400 locations, and they actually went ahead and deployed this in all of those locations. It worked out really well. They deployed 2 to 3 phones per location, all within a few months. So they were able to dramatically cut costs from their analog and other SIP solutions. This product does allow users to manage multiple calls. It's really nice because you don't have to go through all of that training. So places with high turnover and everything, it's really easy for them to use. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ian.
Thank you, Sarah. So yeah, my name is Ian Mitchell. I'm one of the product managers here at Snom. And the solution that we're going to talk about, the M100, it's really great because, as Sarah mentioned, for those small businesses, whether it's like a small retail chain or flower shop, auto body, or whatever, it makes it very easy to use for the end user. And being a DECT solution, it also makes it easy for the reseller to basically service and do the installation, because really there's only, like most DECT solutions out there, there's really only one device you have to provision and touch, and that's the M100 DECT base station. And then we have the 3 phones that connect to it, the M10, the M10R, and the M18, that are through the DECT connection. And that's just a simple pairing process, hold a button for a few seconds to basically register it to that base. And then all the configuration is done on just that one device, just the M100. So this solution of those 4 products basically gives you access to 8 SIP accounts, and then you can also have up to 6 concurrent calls. And one of the great things is, unlike a lot of other DECT products where you have a number of concurrent calls at the base, but then you have only 2 concurrent calls at the phones themselves, we actually support a full 6 concurrent calls on the phones themselves. So I know one of the issues that we sometimes see with DECT solutions is if you have 2 calls on a phone, you're stuck. If you get a 3rd call, that 3rd call is going to bounce. If you want to try and transfer one of those 2 calls that you have somewhere else, you literally can't do it until one of those calls drops. But the 6 concurrent calls on both the deskset and the handsets gives you much better flexibility for call handling. And then, of course, we make it very easy because of the programmable feature keys that we have on those devices. We also support other good DECT features, like we can do paging on the devices, and then also intercom. And then we also have controls for privacy mode. So if you do want to have basically calls only be for your specific handset and you don't want to share them with other people, we have privacy controls. A lot of really good flexibility here to make this system do what you want. So we can also support up to 10 devices And if everything is wireless and everything has a battery option, so even the deskset, the M18, has 7 hours of talk time on a battery. So if there are those corner case scenarios, maybe you want to have the phone up at the concierge or something like that, but there is no power plug there, you can literally just unplug the phone and move it over to that location. Or if it's in like maybe a large home or something like that, and you have a pool party or something like that, it really gives you that flexibility to use this phone system how you need. And then of course, the big thing with it is the easy call handling, because each one of these devices, the desksets and the handsets, all have 4 fully programmable LED backlit keys that can incorporate the keyline emulation. So if we go to the next slide, we'll kind of pop through so we can see all these. So again, we have the M100 base. This gives you the 10 handsets, 8 SIP accounts, the keyline and private line capability, 6 concurrent calls. And then we can see we have the M10 handset, which is kind of like a traditional office handset, gives you a nice backlit display, 4 programmable keys, intercom and everything, 7 days of standby time, along with the 9 hours of talk time. And then we have the M10R, which is a ruggedized version of that handset. So you can kick this around. It'll have the locking battery door. It has better seals around it, so it'll be splash proof. So in those scenarios where maybe you're a small shop and you need to get outside to help load something into somebody's car or whatever, and it gets rain on it, it's not going to destroy the handset. Or in a warehouse environment where you might be hitting it on a ladder or something like that as you're going through the stock room, again, this will be able to kind of take that abuse. And then we have the M18, which again, another fully cordless phone, not just from the connection back to the base, but also the fact that it does include a battery. So, if you do need to use it completely wire-free for a while, you do get that 7 hours of talk time, even on a desk solution. So if we go to the next slide here, we'll get into the details. So with these backlit keys, and what the emulation does is it basically allows you to run in kind of like 2 modes of operation, or even a mixed mode. So with this, you could set it up like a traditional decked phone solution where you're more in just a standard multi-line. So you can basically have a dedicated SIP account to each phone, but even when you're doing that, you actually get a call appearance per call on that phone. So the first call would come in on, let's say, extension 101, and it's going to light up that L1 key on that phone. And then the second call that comes in for that particular extension is going to light up the L2 key. So you don't have to worry about kind of flipping through a call deck that's on the display only in order to see how many calls you have to answer or talk to. Or if you're doing a transfer process, you kind of know, okay, I have this call in line 3 that I need to talk to, and then I need to transfer them externally or transfer them to an internal party. So just a much easier way of managing those calls, because you actually get the line representation like you would typically get on a traditional SIP desk set. And of course, as you can see, we're offering the same thing even on a cordless handset. So on the cordless handset, you get those same 4 keys and the same backlight to help you with that. And this, of course, helps it. So there's a lot less training if you're trying to do, managing those multiple calls. You don't have to flip to the deck or anything like that. And then if we flip to the next one, next slide. So the keyline, the other benefit that we have is if you don't necessarily need it for the kind of private line situation in a typical office environment. If this is more like a retail store or a restaurant or something where you have a lot of calls that you need to kind of manage, and it's not necessarily private for a specific person, we have this keyline emulation to basically allow the sharing of those accounts. And because these lines are fully programmable, you can kind of make that work any way that you want. So by default, out of the box, the first SIP account is basically set in keyline mode on all these keys. And what this is doing is basically give you an index of those calls for that first account. So L1 would be the first call that comes in on account 1, L2 would be the second call that comes in on account 1, L3 would be the third call that comes in on account 1. And of course, this is really good for those small locations, because typically, any restaurant or auto body shop or something, they typically have like that one phone number that's their main number. But of course, they might be getting 2 or 3 or 4 phone calls that they're having to manage from that main line. And this gives that business the ability to kind of see all those people that are calling in, quickly hold them and pick them up somewhere else. Because maybe and a pizza shop's like a perfect example is, you get 3 or 4 calls stacked up, and people very quickly need to see, okay, who's actually holding and who has been helped and who still needs help. So you can see at a glance the flashing light that tells you that you have an incoming call, or you can see it flashing in a different method to see who's actually holding and you need to get back to. You don't have to mess with park slots, where typically if you park a call, it might kind of go off and you have to remember, oh, I have a call sitting on, park extension 801 or park extension 802. You just see the flashing light, so you know exactly how to get back to them. But at the same time, because these are fully programmable, you can say, okay, I only need those shared calls only for, let's say, extensions 1, 2, and 3, but then I have some phones in the back that need private extensions. So you can set up those extensions, whether it's for the manager or the salesperson, or maybe the stock warehouse. They can still have their own extension, and that extension can be tied to one of these keys, or it doesn't even have to be tied to the key. It could be tied just to the handset itself, and it would work like any other decked phone, where a call comes in and you'll just get the screen pop up that shows you, hey, there's a call coming in. So you can answer it and handle it. And again, because we do support up to 6 concurrent calls, but we only have the 4 lines, we do have that call soft key. So if at some point you do need to see the full list, you can just hit the calls button, and then you'll get the full list of calls with caller ID, see who's holding, see who's active, and manage them that way. So it's very easy for those businesses that have kind of high turnover, or they just can't, they're too fast paced and they can't worry about trying to figure out how to park or how to transfer people from one extension to the other. They can just hit the hold button, put that call on hold so it starts flashing, and they can either go over the intercom system, or just yell down the hall, hey, I got a call for you on line 2, and that person can just hit that L2 button and pick up the call. And if we go to the next slide, so we do have a lot of other verticals that we integrate with some of our other products. We just kind of wanted to show you that we do have a full deskset range if we do need more for a traditional office environment, or we actually have a multi-cell deck solution if we do need to get into a larger installation that might cover even more spaces, whether it's a very large retailer like a Walmart or something like that, or if you have like a college campus. And then of course our M100, really perfect for kind of a small retail shop, pizza place, flower shop, auto body, or just a small warehouse for easy management of solutions, and also just moving around. And then we do have the PA1 for any type of broadcasting if you do need to introduce a broadcasting solution into a SIP environment. And with that, I'll hand over to Sarah.
Great, thanks so much, Ian. So real quick here, I kind of went into the beginning as to why you should feel confident partnering with us. We have a partner program in place, which allows us to have control over who sells our products. So we don't allow just anyone to sell our products. We have designated distribution partners, 888 VoIP being one of them. And then also for our resellers, we ask them to fill out an application, and we ask everyone to adhere to MAP policy. So what this does is it keeps margins high for everyone, and really gives everyone an even playing field. So you just go to that website right there. You can go right to snomamericas.com and fill out the application, send it over. You're typically approved within 24 hours, sometimes within an hour. Once approved, you are eligible to purchase NFR sample units directly through 888 VoIP. This is a great way to go ahead and test the product prior to really deploying it. And again, it's just a really nice way to get your hands on the product and feel confident in deploying it. One other thing that we have right now is an end user rebate program. So this is a great way to add value and really help you close those deals. So basically anyone purchasing phones a minimum of 5, a maximum of 200, will receive a rebate for each phone that they purchase. So whether or not they're still on analog and they're upgrading to POTS, or they have, a competitor phone or even a Snom phone that's a year old or more, they are eligible for these rebates. And they have to purchase through an authorized reseller in order to qualify for this. The nice thing about it is it does go through a third party. It's very simple. It tells them exactly what they need, and they actually get a Visa gift card sent right to them via email, or they can request a check. So our desk phones, real quick, we have our entry-level D120 2-line, very simple, $3 per. 717 is our entry-level color screen. They get $10 per. 735 is our mid-range, and then our 785 is our executive, and that actually gives them $20 per phone back. And then our DECT, so our KLE, as you can see, each handset, they get money back for that as well. And then I know we didn't really touch on the multi-cells too much, but we do have an antibacterial handset, which is really nice right now, especially in this time of COVID. Any medical environment, even retailers, they're selling pretty well right now, and they get $7 back per there, which is really nice. We also have conferencing devices, as I mentioned earlier. We have our C520, which is our wired conference device, which gives you 2 expandable speakerphones built right into it. And then our C620, which is our fully wireless conference phone, they get $35 back per unit there as well. So that's a really nice added benefit there. And then one other thing we just came out with, this is separate from the other rebate program. If you have a customer who has the Polycom 2W, the analog conference device, and they upgrade those devices to the C620, they get $100 back per. So again, really nice benefit, definitely something. Any questions on this, please feel free to reach out. Definitely happy to help you, close any deals and give you any more details on this. And then something else that we have is devices as a service. So if you have a customer who wants to purchase a bunch of phones up front and they want to lease it, we can help with that as well. We go through CSC leasing. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So yep, you can find details on this on our website, or you can just reach out to us. We're happy to help. I'm here. There's our contact information right there. So with that, that's pretty much all I have. I guess we can open it up to questions now.
All right, thank you, Sarah. Yes, we do have a couple of questions here, and I will read these out for you. The first question is, do you support zero-touch provisioning?
So yes, we do have a zero-touch provisioning service. We call it SRAPs, and that actually gives you redirection and provisioning right within the SRAP system, and it is supported on all of our devices, including the M100 and the deskets and stuff like that.
Awesome. And then the second question we have here is, how far away from the base station are you able to roam with the headsets?
So the M100 being a DEC solution, it does follow the typical DEC standards, which is around 300 to 500 feet, kind of like open range. But of course, that will depend on once you get inside the building, kind of like building materials, what interferes a little bit more. But you're still usually able to get about 150 to 200 feet, I would say, in a typical building installation.
All right, and the last one we have here is, do you support SRTPS?
Yes, we do support the SRTP protocols for calls. And one other thing I wanted to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ian.
Just wanted to say, we also have a YouTube channel called the Snom Workshop, and there's actually some really good videos on there that go pretty deep into how to actually program the phones through the web UI, or talks a little bit more in detail about how the phones actually function in terms of call handling and stuff like that. So just want to give a little shout out to that.
Awesome, and I can actually link the YouTube channel in the follow-up email too to everyone.
Great.
All right, guys, well, if that's all the questions that we have, thank you, Ian and Sarah, so much for your time and taking the time out of your day to give us this presentation. And like I said, this will be recorded and will be uploaded on the 888 event website. on our on-demand webinars for later viewing as well.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
All right, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.